Hi and welcome. This is Kelly, believe it or not, and this is some fiber that I kind of pulled out on my hand carders. I'll show you what they look like. I probably do it all wrong. I have no idea, but these are the things that I used, and yes, those are all kind of pieces of bent wire, needle-like things. And I thought I would just do a quick clip on, this is the bear head that I made yesterday, and I will link the site and the designer who showed how to make this bear and offers it as a free PDF pattern. And I will also link Doll Maker's Journey, because it's an active website still, even though I've had this for many, many years. And what these are, and back then, I don't know if they still do, but they send a couple of little pieces about, how to use felting needles, because that's what I want to do, is I want to try to felt cheeks onto this little bear to finish his head. And so back in the day when I used to make dolls, and I felted doll hair onto cloth doll heads, which isn't to say that I wouldn't do it now, because I would. I just bought loose, like these are size 40s, and I think this is an assortment. That's from Sisters and Daughters, which I don't think is an open site anymore. And these are size 38s, and these are size 36s, which this pamphlet says what the different uses for the different gauges are. And again, I don't think Sisters and Daughters is still open, although it might be, I don't know. I also have some felting needles, some other felting needles from them. And these are just, I'll show you what a felting needle looks like. This is an old one, so it's kind of shows time. Oops. But it has a crooked end, and then that end there has got tons of little barbs on it, and let me tell you, don't jab yourself with these because they hurt. Anyway, I want to work on the face of this little bear, and I haven't put eyes on him yet or anything, so I want to get his cheeks on first. And the way this thing shows is to use a cookie cutter, and I couldn't find a cookie cutter a good size, so I used this fondant cutter, which I use for my polymer clay. And if I put them up to the bear's face, it's about the right size. This might be a little small, but the other one I have is a metal one, and it seems to be kind of big. So we're going to try it with this. I have a piece of foam that I think came out of some packing, and I'm just going to set this on a mouse pad. See? Some pictures of my family. I'm going to use it as a base. Wish me luck. Don't know if this is going to work. Of course, if it doesn't work, you won't see it, so it doesn't really matter. I'll show you the fibers that I'm using. Always a good idea. I've had these for a very long time. I'm not sure where I bought them, but it's just an assortment. It's like one big, long roving. And by roving, I'll show you what I mean. It's a long bat, and spinners will spin this into yarn. This is kind of a rainbow of colors, which is wonderful. But I also have, this is called Special Edition, and it's Soft Shaper. And what this is it's a black poly, or dark brown polyfill. And it's kind of a coarse texture, so it is kind of like an animal bat, polyester bat maybe, but it's got a coarser texture. So it should felt. I had that when I was making darker skinned cloth dolls. So you could stuff it and not have the white show blatantly through the dark fabric. And then I've also used just a little bit of white polyfill, which is, again, a coarser bat. It's not silky. This has some substance. And all that to say, I didn't have any white except for this batting, and I wanted it to have a little bit more substance than batting, because I wasn't sure how straight batting or polyfill type deal would work. So I guess we're going to find out. What we want to do is try to make sure that we have a couple of equal sizes because I want to make 2 cheeks. So what I did is when I carded this to blend them, because that's why I put them on my cards, was to blend the colors. I just took the half that was on one card and then the half that was on the other card and hoping it's about the same. This might not be enough. It might be too much. I have no idea. I've never done it before. You're with me on this journey. So all I'm going to do is kind of mush it up into a ball and see if it will fit. I think I got too much for this cookie cutter, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. So that's how this one fits. It's a tight squeeze, but it kind of all fits in there. Let's check the other one, see if it feels about the same. So I'm just going to mush this one up. Stuff it in the cookie cutter. It doesn't feel like there's as much of this one, but it fills the cookie cutter up, so I'm going to go with it. But I'm going to start with what feels like a bigger one and see what happens. Maybe they feel about the same. Let's see, my little pamphlet says that the size 38 is sharper and has more barbs and provides more aggressive felting action. It's perfect for mohair. So we're going to look for the size 38, which it says a size 38 star blade. 4-sided needle, has more barbs, provides more aggressive action, best needle for wefting process, perfect for mohair. And that's what the envelope says. So let's open this puppy up, pull one of these needles out. I always try to make sure I put them back in the correct envelope so I always know what they are. And I do have a handle that holds felting needles, but I can't find it, so we're doing it this way. And all this is you keep the needle straight up and down, and you poke, 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 poke. And what those barbs do is they put the fibers, they interlock the fibers, kind of mushes them all together. And I'm trying not to go too far down onto that foam because I'm not too sure what will happen with the foam. And in the instructions, she says to concentrate on the center first. And you want to kind of loosely do around the outside edge. But you also want to be careful because you don't want to jab yourself. And you don't want to break your needle. Because you see I keep hitting that. Maybe it's good that that's plastic because I keep hitting it. Let me just kind of move these in a little like this. Let's push them all in. Right now I'm doing kind of a shallow punch. Just to get this back kind of felted. And it should make like a flat back and then more of a domed front. And I think the domed front is the part that becomes the cheek. So you can see I'm kind of just cleaning up this edge. And this cutter might be a little too compact for this. And by all means, you don't have to use what essentially is a mold to do this. You can just do it freeform. I think this is just to make sure that your cheeks kind of come out relatively uniform. And it takes a while. It's not a quick process. I mean, every art form takes a while. If it was quick and easy, I guess we would all do our own. Not that we couldn't all do our own, because I do believe that we are all more than capable of creating art in all forms. haven't jabbed myself, and I've been talking, so let's hope I didn't just jinx myself, but I thought it anyway, so I don't think saying it's going to make much difference. Right now I'm jabbing a little bit deeper to kind of catch those front fibers, and that's what that part of it looks like, and then that's what the back of it's looking like. So you can see that it's all compacting into there. I have no idea what this is, if it's even going to be okay for this bear face. It's something we're both going to find out, or all of us are going to find out together. Wally just came into my room, my dog, and he's sitting up in the window seat, so hopefully nothing pulls into my driveway, because then he will bark. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take it out of here. I think it's kind of big. And you do want loose fibers around these edges. You don't want to pack the edge in too much, because you do need to felt it to the bear head. So I'm just going to go around and pull some of these loose. You could do it with a felting needle, but I mean the fibers aren't really packed in there that tight yet. So let me see. Yeah, it's kind of big for this little bear. And it's really a dark color for this little bear. But you know what? What the heck? I kind of live dangerously, so we're just going to go with that. I'm going to felt this other one. Stuff this down in there. Get it started. Just in the center. I am pushing the cutter, the mold, down into the foam, so it's not, so if my fingers look like they're down there by the bottom of the mold, the cutter, they're not. Okay. And this is real time. I'm not cutting anything out. I wish I had some really exciting things to say, or had some great music to play, but I don't. And I'm not going to worry about it. It's not what I'm here for. I'm just here trying something new. Well, it's new and old. I've never tried to make a bear head like this, but I have made bear heads before with other patterns, and I enjoy making teddy bears. And I thought this might be fun. And I'm using what I have, which is why I don't have anything that is matchy, because I am using, like I said, what I have. And sometimes using what you have means I don't have white in everything, and I don't have the same colors in everything, because I've used most of this for other things, which is a good thing. I would be very depressed if I just bought stuff and didn't do anything with it. Not that I can remember everything that I've done, because I can't. Whew, tiring. I suppose like cross stitch, there's 1,000 stabs here that relieves a little stress, pent up emotion, if you have any. Okay, put that down. I'm going to pull that out. And then I'm just going to loosen up the sides of this. Oh, here's a nice white patch. Might help make the cheeks look like they fit a little better on this little white bear. So like I said, don't want the sides to be too tight because they have to fit on this little bear. You see his ears are there. This is his little face. I just cut the fur away from it. Well, he's going to look a little strange, but we're going to go with it because I can always take some of this fiber and kind of reverse felt, but I don't have a reverse felt needle, which I think the barbs go in the opposite direction. But maybe, you never know, I might have to try that too, where I stuff the bear with a little bit of alternate color, if they only have an alternate color, and then pull some of it out through the fiber, which might be interesting. Okay, well, let's see what happens. I'm not looking at any directions. I didn't print them out, so we are winging it. Now this little bear head is just stuffed with fiberfill, the same fiberfill that I put in the cheeks. And you can see that cheek is already felting in. So I just want to attach it. I probably have enough here for both cheeks. I wonder if I could have cut it in half. Maybe. But I know that you can felt them down too, so we're gonna see what happens. Maybe he's just gonna be a big cheeked bear. I think that might be a possibility. Now I am holding this in my hand, so I am trying to keep these punches shallow because I do not want to punch through my fingers on the other side. And this is doing that line that's creating his lip, his jawline in here, so I have to be somewhat careful. Okay, let's put this other one in and see what happens. Kind of keep his snout open, and he has to have a nose, and I think these cheeks are way too big, so I think I'm going to have to felt these down quite a bit, if that's possible. I don't even know. I think these should be closer together. He looks kind of funny, doesn't he? Oh, well. Let me pull this down. Knocking stuff down, shaking the house. May have to put some eyes on here and see if it's even worth going on. I think there's too much red in these cheeks. Keep your needle straight as I catch myself with bending. Yep. It may take me a while. Broke my needle. No. See, don't do that. That's bad. Luckily I have more. These are old though too. So we will continue, even though I'm kind of bummed. I guess that's the only way you learn. What I'm trying to do right now is just make like a line so this hair kind of forms more to the cheek, like that. All right, not in line, huh? Now I'm just trying to get these things to look like a nose line, maybe. And that's his mouth in there. So it kind of came together. I think when I put eyes on him, he'll look better. Maybe. And then I gotta blend this somehow. On this side. It kind of looks more like one of those baboons. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Gonna get some of my black, or my brown batting. Put that aside for a minute. Make this into like a ball. I'm going to try for a triangle shape. And see, this is how I roll. I just kind of wing it. I get an idea, I see somebody else's pattern, and then I take off into my own realm of possibility, I guess. I don't want this nose to be big. I want it to be kind of compact. I guess this foam isn't too bad. This one I'm trying to be really careful with because I don't want to hit my fingers. Okay, well, I haven't done any more than my video just camera cuts off at 27 minutes, so that tells me that this has gone on a while. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. I just kind of put a couple of ridges in. All right, let's see. Does that work? Oh, it might. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna put this on and then I'll show you because it's too hard to hold. Right now I'm just using my needle and pulling some fibers out. Okay, let's see. Sorry. It's really hard to do this and pay attention to where I am. Well, looks a little bit more like a face. Now, I have a brass brush. Just a minute. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Actually, it's a brush for doing metallic clay, precious metal. But what I want to do, see if this works. Just want to get in here with this. This is like harder than a scrub brush. I just want to pull some of this fiber. Get it going into that little face. And then I got to get some beads. So hang on a minute. Let me find some black beads or eyes. Okay. So I'm back, and I went into my stash and found some Prima pearls. So I'm gonna see, and I went into my stash of doll needles because I need to find out if said doll needle will go through the hole in these pearls. Granted, they're glass, but the holes are never that big, and of course it won't. So that means doll needles won't work. I'm actually just looking for something long enough to get through the head, because I'm going to have to sew these eyes on. So let me just go to my regular needle stash, which I have tons of needles. It's generally not a problem. Regular beading needles won't work because they're generally not strong enough to go through. Well, sharps aren't long enough. They're not strong enough to go through the fabric and stuffing all at the same time. Still looking for needles. Well, here I have a different style of doll sculpting needle. These look a little thinner. So we will try these. These are Peacemakers. Yep, Peacemakers work. Okay, so generally I would use upholstery thread, but I don't think upholstery thread in this case will go through those beads along with the beads, so I'm just going to use quilting thread. And I just buy that at Joann's. I was pulling off a good amount. Now with thread, there's a twist to thread, and if you had a smaller eyed needle, you want to be careful that you always thread the part that comes off the spool rather than the bottom that you cut, because it will thread through the needle easier without splitting. And I'm going to use a double length and hope it doesn't clog the bead up. I'm going to need to get 2 eyes in, so of course I'm going to live dangerously and cut a whole length at one time for both eyes, hopefully. Although I will sew them separately. And I'm just going to wrap it around my finger, and I just roll the thread back over my finger, and that creates a knot. And I'm going to cut the end off. And what I'm going to do, in the video that I watched, where she was making this bear's head, they actually had an awl, and she poked it in and made a hole because the eye that she used was a glass eye that was on a wire shank. So she poked a hole with the awl and used E6000 glue and then stuck the eye in and held it, and the glue held it in place. But because I'm going to use pearls, I don't have the wire stem to hold it in place, although I could wire it. I could take a piece of beading wire and put it through here, pull it in half, twist it, then poke the hole and glue it in. But I don't know. I've always been a person who sews my critter eyes in, or my doll eyes. I don't usually use glue. So I'm going to come up about where I think I want my eye to be positioned, which is right here. Maybe near the nose, but not too near the nose. And I'm just going to pull this through. And I'm going to give it a tug to bury the knot. Maybe. There it goes. Hear that little pop? And I'm going to pick up my pearl and put it on the needle. Of course, I didn't check both of them. And then I'm going to just bring it back and check it and see if that's about where I want it. I think it is, so I'm just going to sink the needle back down close to where the thread came out, but not exactly. And then I'm just going to come back out the back. And you'll see I've already got a pin back sewn on the bear, so. And I didn't do too good a job with that. It's not perfectly centered, but I figure if this works, I can make a design element that makes that work for me. Or makes it make sense. Okay, so I'm just pulling this down. And I'm going to have to do this a couple of times. So I'm going to come back out somewhere near. Oh, not through the nose. Ah. A lot of times it's just, I look where I want it to come out and hope. I'm going to pull this tight. And I'm going to go through the hole that I went in. I came up and went through this side. Now I came up, I'm going to come through the opposite side because you can see this hole still kind of shows over here. And we could fix that by putting on an eyelid. That's really not a big deal. This is where a thimble kind of comes in handy to help you pull through, or a pair of pliers. And I do have pliers here, but it came through without too much issue. Snug my thread up. I'm going to push this needle, I'm going to go back in more down into the top of the cheek and then out through the back and pull the eye. Pull that pearl. Snug it down. And look at that. Look at that. He has an eye. Whoops. He's a jiggly guy. That's what happens when you just hold him by the thread. And that second time through kind of buried the thread on the outside of the eye too. So what I'm going to do now, hopefully where you can see, I'm just going to make a pass through the back of the head like this and pull the thread through. And then I'm going to try to make another little loop through, bring my dowel needle up, and then I'm just going to pass through that loop a couple times, making a secure knot. And then I'm going to poke it through one more time and pull it out, and that'll snug the knot down into the fur. There. So that's what our, well, I got first knots. So that's what he looks like right now. Kind of cute. Let's see what a second eye does for him. So I'm going to, while he jumped down, I was like on the edge of my chair sharing it with my dog. I'm going to push this needle through from the back up onto the other side of the bear's face. Again, close to the nose, but not too close to the nose, kind of the same distance as we had on the other side, which I think a little bit more. He's about 1/4 of an inch off the nose, I think. So I want to take him off a little bit further. Oh, too much. Okay, I think that's good. Pull the needle up. Make sure this thread in the back doesn't twist or knot on you, because you don't want anything that's going to come and cause a problem. And then what I'm going to do is put a piece of felt back here, and I'll show you that too. So let me find my other pearl. It's trying to get away from me. And I will run that up. Before I do that, I'm going to see if I can pull a little bit more of this nose fur up. I do happen to really like that there. Okay, now comes the tricky part, making those things look like they match. I think that's about right. So let's just put it down in there and see what happens, right? All right. Okay. How you looking? And we do have a knot on this eye, so if I have to, I can cut this and do it again. But I don't want to. And Wally's trying to jump back up in my chair, so please excuse me while I get... Come on. Oh, if you only saw the way I work. I can pull my chair back up so I can get back to my table. Because I have Wally head. I don't know if you can see him, but he's like right here. Got his nose in my business. Got your nose in my business, don't you? So I'm going to hold him up to the camera and see how he's looking. What do you think? I think he's not too shabby for a first try at this kind of thing and using what I have. So I'm going to call that eye good, and I'm just going to bring my, let's see, I'm going to bring this back up, try to get it to the outside of the pearl. Whoops, into the cheek. Much easier when I can do this like up by my face instead of down where you can see it too. Alright, let's see. What do I need to do here? Alright. So I need to come back up. And I do need to go through, just checking my thread. I do need to go through, make sure I don't have any issues back here. I don't. Do need to go through this outside loop, or outside hole of the bead. Come through. Yeah, this needle wouldn't make it through that pearl another time, so this is it. And then go back down to the back through here. So there he goes. And, well, that didn't. This one didn't bury quite as well. I may have to work on the... Ooh, look at that. If I push these little furry things down, they look like eyebrows. That part goes back, this part goes down. What do you think? I think he's pretty darn cute. See his eyebrows? And then that part goes back. These come down. I like that. That is kind of a cutie. See? So, that's kind of my attempt at felting. Let's see. I like it. He's a cutie. And I could put a bow if I want to make it a girl, but he looks like a boy to me. Almost. So let me know what you think. I will link the felt site that I saw the YouTube video from, and the place where I downloaded the pattern. And what I do, I have to remember to knot that eye off. What I do when I printed the pattern out, and I hand sewed the bear head together. I didn't use my sewing machine. But what I do is I take all the pieces and I glue them onto some kind of medium weight cardboard. And then if I want to use them again, I worked on the back of the fur. And she goes through how to cut through fur, because you do have to be very careful that you're only cutting the fabric and not the actual fur fibers, or you're going to have a mess. And I did a lot of trimming on this to cut it down to this shape. But yeah, it's fun. And if you've never done it, hey, you know, all you got to do is try. So let me sew a knot in back here, because I have to pull them tight. So all I'm going to do is loop my thread back through the back area. And don't pull too tight. You don't want to break your thread. But you do want to snug the eye in. And then you want to do that again. And then go through these loops a couple of times. And then what I do is I will bring my needle up through the face, believe it or not, and get my pliers, because my poor fingers are not strong enough anymore. And pull that puppy out, snag it through, take it. I'm pretty close to where I brought it through. I'm going to take it back out. Yeah, I'll just go through the top of the head where the fur is. And all I'm doing now is burying the thread. I've already knotted it, so it's already knotted off, but now I can bury it. I'm going to push the fur out of the way and just clip this puppy without getting the fur. And that takes care of that. And then, yep, fur down, fur back. And then you can take smaller felting needles and kind of, you know, do a little more felting. You can add the eyebrows, or the eyelids rather, if you want to. I may not, because I kind of like his furry brows. And if that white thread didn't hide well enough, you can take a black Sharpie. And in her tutorial she does show actually using alcohol markers to highlight your fiber. But all I'm going to do is take this Sharpie and I will just color over this white thread with a black marker. And because it's a glass pearl, they shine. So I'm not even going to worry about gloss or anything else. I may put a little bit of some type of a sealer on the nose to make it shine a little bit. And I think she mentions Mod Podge or whatever. So I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I really had a good time making this little guy. I may do a little extra felting because I can see where he's not quite symmetrical, but I'm not symmetrical. My face certainly isn't symmetrical. I think sometimes our asymmetry gives us character, and in little creatures, character is a good thing. So yeah, just gonna put this nose in a little bit on the sides. So you get the idea. You create them, and then there's always some type of a cleanup that goes on. I'm giving them little nostrils. And I'm going to give them a little bit of a line here. There. And then this is his mouth down in here, but that's okay. You want to be careful when you're using your felting needles if you've got threads in that you don't want to do too much damage to the threads that are holding everything together. And you can also go back through, let me put this back in my envelope. You can go back through with a sharp pair of scissors and do a little bit of fur cutting if you need to. I kind of like the way the fur sticks up. I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, he's a cute little bear. And what I'll do for the back, I don't think I have. Do I have any felt? Yeah, I do have. Hang on. You can look at his cute little face for a minute, and I will be right back. I'm going to get a piece of felt. And let's see. I said he looked kind of like a boy to me, but oh, good. So what I would do is I get myself my piece of felt. Now I had to sidetrack to get my pinking shears. And on this pin back, I would take my pinking shears, and those are just scissors with a serrated edge, and they actually help to prevent edges from fraying. You don't really have to worry about that on felt, but I think it gives it a really pretty look. So all I'm going to do, you can see I already have one pinked edge here because I use felt to cover things a lot. And I'm just going to cut myself off a chunk. And I'm going to measure how much I need, which isn't all a lot because here's the end of this pin, top and bottom. So I only really need about half of it. And then let me unhook it and lay this in here. And that's a little too big. So all I do is, you know, there's really no rhyme or reason. I just do it. Okay? And if you wanted to, before you glued that down, I could put Kelly Bell on here. Which, you know, I would just do, where'd my Sharpie go? In a Sharpie marker. So let me make some room. And I'm just going to do K, which is a terrible K. And let's see if I can do Bell. B. Thank goodness my name is short. E-L-L. So there, I did K-Bell. Not very well, but I did K-Bell. And then I would just glue that on there. But I don't like the way that came out. So what I'll do is I will glue this on here, and then I will make a label and glue it on top of the felt, which will be the easier way to do it. And the glue that I use is E6000. And I don't think I have to show you how I glue, but anyway, I would glue that down, and then I would have a cute little bear head pin, or face pin. And yeah, I really like that. I think he came out adorable. So thank you for joining me. I hope you found this useful. And like I said, I will link the YouTube video I watched, and the designer, whose name I can't remember right now, but she even shows you how to do a whole lot more. And I just winged it with stuff that I had. So thanks for watching. Bye.